Hi guys, right, so this is just a quick live chat I'm going to throw up. Didn't book it or anything like that, so if anybody wants to join in, you can do. But basically, this is for information. I've had a lot of people contact me in the last 48 hours having a bit of a panic about prepping and this government requirement that people prep. Okie doke. They want to know, what do I think and what should they be thinking? What should they be doing? Well, personally, I don't think there's too much to panic about. I think this is just common sense by the government. When you look at what's happening in the world, what can happen in the world these days with cyber attacks, um, we've got pollution in the water down in Devon, natural disasters, and so on. It makes sense to turn around to your public and say to them, you might have to look after yourselves, guys. After all, if you take the population of England, if we had a major cyber attack here, it took out the power grid, who's going to prioritise who? Okay. So at the end of the day, you're better off being able to look after yourself, aren't you? Now, this isn't a crazy thought. This isn't something new. Preppers aren't something that's just suddenly developed in the last 10 years and a bunch of paranoid people. Well, maybe some of them are, but the majority aren't. Okay. This is based on something that's got us by for centuries. Okay. Our ancestors prepped. Our ancestors collected wood for the winter, put away grain, put away meat, put away vegetables, stored things, and in a lot of the world, people still do. They preserve stuff, they put it to one side, and they've got it for the winter when things are tough. In the UK, and a lot of Europe, I expect a lot of America and other countries as well, the supermarkets in the last 30 years have tried to get us away from that because it's not good profit for them. They want you to buy what you need for tomorrow, today, and that's it. Okay, quick on the shelf, quick off, quick profit. Now, that works fine all the time, everything's good, but when things go wrong, it falls apart. So, prepping. The government in the UK are saying 3 days. Have 3 days worth of food, water, and batteries. That simplifies it. It's not really giving you a lot of information, but it simplifies it. So I'm going to take it a step further. Prep for what you can. Me personally, minimum of 10 days. Okay, that covers me for any disaster, whether it's financial, whatever. I'm covered. I know I can feed and look after my family for 10 days. The only thing I haven't put by is 10 days worth of water. Although I do have a water source in store, but it's not 10 days. But I can top that off if I need to. So let's look at the minimum preps I require. Okay, so water. Average human being will use 2 to 3 litres of water a day, and that's taking it fairly easy. If you're doing a lot of exhaustive work and the temperature is up, then your water needs are going to go up. So again, if it's that sort of disaster, it's really hot, stay in the shade, keep movement to a minimum, do as little as possible, control your loss of water. You're better off controlling sweat. Okay. So in other words, try not to lose too much water for simple management. But allow 2 to 3 litres of water a day to get you by. On top of that, when you're using your water, any water that becomes contaminated or dirty, i.e., you've just cooked some pasta and you've got a load of water left, that water always goes in your dirty bucket. Okay, so any water you have that's extenuous, you used to wash your hands, that you've cooked with, that is now contaminated water, that always goes to your dirty bucket, and I'll come back to that in a bit. Hi, John. How you doing, mate? Yeah, just a random one today. Unfortunately, I can't put my normal video up because my computer is really playing up today, so I'm doing it on a live job. Lovely to see you, mate. So I'm going to crack this through a bit like a video, and I will answer questions as I go through. Yeah, so dirty water will go into a bucket. Food. Now, if you're doing little exercise, i.e., you're trapped in your home, you're not moving much, you can get by on as little as 2,040 calories per day as a minimum. Okay, you don't ever want to drop below that. Okay, and if you can, you want to try and increase it above. So you take 2,000 calories as your minimum. Okay, Now, at the end of the day, you can get that from anything you want. So if you go into your disaster situation, you're thinking about prepping, oh no, the poo's hit the fan. The first thing you want to do, the first thing you want to raid is your fridge. Okay? Dive in your fridge because the power's off. What can you use up first? What's going to go bad first? Then you want to go to your freezer. Okay? Now, if you keep that freezer door shut the majority of the time, it's going to keep you going. Right, and it will keep you going for a couple of days if you're lucky. You can increase that time by putting freezer blocks in it beforehand. They'll help to keep the temperature down. Now, when I say keep it going, it's a thing like the frozen beef joint that I have in the freezer. If I take it out, put it to one side, it takes about 24 hours to defrost, then I can cook it. Okay, what items do you have in that freezer that literally as soon as they're defrosted, you've got to use them? What items can go on a little bit longer? What items could be cooked and when cooked could be then stored or preserved for longer or dried out or smoked even? So again, you can go through that whole scenario and that comes in with the survivalist prepping side of things. The obvious is your tinned goods. Okay, having a supply of tinned goods, things like soups, which will help with hydration. Um, things like beans, pulses, they're all great sources of protein. Okay, have the things you like. You want a stock of stuff that you're going to pretty much like eating because let's face it, the world has suddenly gone to poo. Do you want to be eating something you really don't enjoy? No, life's bad enough as it is. You're sitting there in the dark wondering what's going on. You want to try and make it as easy as possible on yourself. So again, that's the way to think about your food. Now, we use food storage. Yeah, I like tins. You can go with army rations. You can go with dehydrated. You can use all sorts. It's again imagination, but I do like tins. Things like spam and that will keep out the fridge for donkey's years. All I've got to do is open it up. Once it's opened, use it. It's a great source of protein. So again, foods just takes a little bit of thought and thinking. Other things to think about: meds. Meds and first aid go together. So again, for your prepping situation at home. So here in the UK, I don't know about elsewhere in the world. One of the things you can do in the UK, if you take a med on a regular basis and it's a lifelong med, i.e., like I do, you can speak to your chemist or your pharmacist, and you can ask for a 6 monthly prescription. So it's a repeat prescription that comes in every 6 months. So that means I get 6 months worth of meds. Okay, I'm ahead of myself, and that way, if we go into a situation for that 6 months, I'm covered. The other thing I would suggest you do is speak to your pharmacist and say, okay, just out of interest, if I couldn't get those meds, if we had a situation where I can't get those meds, is there anything I can help myself with? Is there something else I can take or get naturally that will help? Or are there things I need to avoid that are going to aggravate my situation? Okay. Your pharmacist will be quite happy to help you there and give you the right advice. And quite often they can give you alternatives or even natural ingredients that will assist your situation. Okay. And every little bit of information you can gather like that helps. Now, along with your meds, your first aid kit there, you've got your normal, what I call normal home medicine kit. So it's your paracetamol, your cold flu relief, your anti-diarrhea tablets, your antacids, antihistamines for any allergies, things like that you keep in your little med kit that's a general med kit just in case somebody's got a bit of a temperature, fever or whatever. Make sure they're in date. Stock them up. Get a little bit of a supply. Okay. By doing so, again, you can last a period of time. Don't need to go mad, don't need 20 years worth of paracetamol, but if you've got 2 or 3 packs of paracetamol, you can ration them out and use them and they will keep you going for a while. And yes, okay, so it might not be the strongest painkiller in the world. Any painkiller is better than no painkiller. Okay, everything helps. First aid kit, well, I should hope your first aid kits are up to date. And I should hope that your home first aid kit is well equipped. Okay, if not, have a think about it. Because you, in that emergency, in that prepper situation, are going to be your own medic. Okay, and if you don't have the kit for dealing with the job, it's going to make life difficult. So, some dressings, some bandages, some burns gels, some creams, some sutures. Okay, butterfly sutures are wonderful, plasters, dressings, and so on. All in a box, easy to get to, that's waterproof. So in that emergency, you've got it. So there you go. In your prepping situation, you're covered for your meds, covered for your first aid, covered for your personal meds for any conditions you may have. Next thing you're going to look at is power. Okay, so the grid's down. Oomph, that's it, it's gone. Oh dear, what a shame. Okay, so the first thing you've got to think to yourself is what you've got, and the obvious one, and the one the government's always saying, batteries. Okay, so batteries for things like torches, wonderful. Well, the batteries from that aren't going to work with that. Okay, and everybody sits there and says, "Oh yeah, go mobile phone." If the grid is down, the cell net's probably down as well. And even if the cell net isn't down, it's going to be so overloaded with people trying to make calls, you're probably not going to be able to use it. Okay, so by all means, keep that charged. See if you can get information from it. See if you can contact people from it. It may well work for you. However, okay, don't make that the be all and end all. I'll turn the flashlight off. Don't make that the be all and end all. Hi, Benny. Mate. No worries. So don't make the mobile phone the be all and end all. By all means, keep it charged. If you've got a porta bank for it or a power bank for it, especially if it's a solar powered one, brilliant. You can keep that topped up. Other things you can do, yeah, solar. Solar is a wonderful thing. So you can run things like I have here. So I've got a 350 watt hour porta bank there, and that will run my computer. That will charge any phones I want, runs lighting for me. I can supply lighting and have done for days on end before now. Brilliant bit kit, not too expensive. I say not too expensive, and a couple of £100. Okay, but along with the solar panel, that's it. You're laughing. If you're coming down, think B&Q, think pound shop, dollar store. We've all seen them. The little sensor lights that have got the little solar panel on the top. Little cheap things, you know. I think in the UK you can only pick up a couple for a tenner. Okay, they're absolutely brilliant. I started off with one or two in the garden, and it was a bit dubious. I've now got them for emergency lighting around the house because all I've got to do is put them in a window facing south. They charge up. If I lose power, I can put those in any room in the house, and as soon as somebody walks in, that sensor goes off. It lights up the room, and it gives enough light to see what you're doing. Okay, you leave the room, that sensor light knows you've left. Normally within about a minute, it goes off. Saves the battery. Okay, so again, it's a cheap option, works bloody well. It's absolutely fantastic. Gives you light, and light is going to be one of your priorities. Yeah, long dark nights. As anybody that's done the one night survival challenge knows, it's yeah, it's the way to go. And talking about lights, so you have those lights. On top of that, you can either have the world's ugliest head torch, yeah, it works, or your normal head torches. And I have head torches basically in every room of the house. I have one in my bedside cabinet. That situation where I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, the power's out, there's funny noises, something's happening. I can sling that on, I've got my hands free, I can deal with the situation. Okay. And again, torches. You can't have enough torches around the house. Okay, it's simple things like that, even down to lanterns. Okay, so the more you got, better off you are. You can go mad with it, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's equipping yourself with that light. So that gets you through water, food, meds, power, lighting. Okay, cooking comes next. So for cooking, personally, I'm going to go with a gas stove. If I'm here at home, I'm probably going to go with those gas, and I've got a couple of those, like simple little camping gas ring cooker. Brilliant. I can do most things with that. I can even stick my cast iron pot on that and use it like a low grade oven. Okay, so cooking's not a problem. If you've got a barbecue, don't ignore the barbecue, whether it be gas, whether it be coals. The barbecue, it's a cooking source. It's how our ancestors cooked. Okay, So again, maybe move it somewhere with a bit of shelter. Don't bring it indoors. And if you are cooking indoors, just remember carbon monoxide. You've got to think about that all the time. And again, you can counter the carbon monoxide by opening a window, but is that going to make the house too cold? So you have to balance things out a little bit. You have to be a little bit rational. You have to be a little bit commonsensical about it. You can go to other cook systems. So you can go with spirit stoves like we have up there at the top there. So you can go with a spirit burner, although I wouldn't suggest using that indoors. Or you can go with a camping setup like this. So basically, got my bottle, got my cooker, all in one. And any of the outdoors guys will tell you that will boil half a litre of water in a minute or so. Okay, so for making brews, things like that, it's absolutely brilliant. And again, any contaminated water, any dirty water goes straight in your dirty water bucket. Your dirty water bucket is important. You need it. Okay, and again, we'll come back to that in a little bit. So that's cooking. And cooking is just that thought process. It is just literally, how am I going to do this? What have I got? Equip yourself. So I see a lot of people prepping, a lot of people buying food. I don't see many people showing me how they're actually going to cook and prepare that food. And again, if you're going to go down the dehydrated route, you've got to think, I need more water. I'm going to have to rehydrate that food. So again, brings me back to tins. Good old tins. Who thought it, eh? So we go from cooking to comms. Comms is quite simple. You've got your mobile phone, okay, but it ain't going to work. Or it might. You're not going to rely on it. The one thing you can rely on is the FM radio network. Now, I can only speak on behalf of the UK, not the rest of the world, but I do know this for a simple fact. The FM network in the UK, radio network, is part of the UK emergency broadcast system and has been since prior to the Second World War. Every time it's upgraded, it's been hardened, toughened, upgraded all the way through so that system will work no matter what. So that the government can communicate, they can send information, and they can also share information with police forces, local authorities, and the public. Okay, so by having an FM radio, you should be able to tune into wherever you need to be. Hi Ray, hope you're good, mate. Hey buddy. So again, have a crank powered one, have a battery powered one, have a solar powered one. Okay, it doesn't matter which one you've got, but having that ability to access the FM network is brilliant. And if you can access the AM network, you may pick up on the World Service, you may pick up on, excuse that, you may pick up on foreign services. But having that information, even if it comes down to simple things like you're just snowed in the valleys of Scotland, it's the middle of winter, knowing what the weather's doing tomorrow, if you've got a 15-mile walk out, means you're either going to make it or you're not. Hi, Bob. Yes, Radio 4 is the emergency channel. It's going to be the one to pretty much listen into, and they will be updating with all the information as you need it. However, if you then scan around some of the other frequencies, you will pick up on the local national emergency band, which is going to be things like the local police, it's going to be the local council, it's going to be local rescue services. They will be dropping off the main frequencies and off of things like the digitised system and down to local bands, which work better basically. They work better signal, more reliable signal, and less reliant on technology. So that gives us comms. Next thing is comfort. Be comfortable. If you're building your preps for home and you're building emergencies, think about comfort. So you're already at home, you're already sheltered. Okay, so you're going to think, well, I've got my four walls, I've got my roof, I'm not going to get wet, but I want to be comfy. All right, what's your house going to be like without the heating on? All right, in the middle of winter. What's your house going to be like without a fan on in the middle of summer? Okay, you've got to think a bit logically like that, and you've got to think, what am I going to need? Do I need? Is it worth me buying some really light cotton sheets for the summer so I can just sleep under those? And is it worth me getting a slightly heavier quilt for emergencies for the winter, or maybe even a couple of sleeping bags that zip together so I can share it with somebody? Yeah, because sharing a sleeping bag with another person is always going to be warmer than being in a sleeping bag on your own. especially if you can put a small dog down where your feet are. Oh, that's toasty as hell. So again, think about your comfort. In a real genuine prepping emergency, I would always suggest moving everybody into one room, sharing one space, sharing the body heat. Okay. The other bonus with that is you've got people to talk to, you've got people around you. But remember, we all occasionally need our little bit of space. Okay. Set a room aside, whether you call it the quiet room or if somebody wants to go off and sit in there for 10 minutes, have a bit of peace, you let them. Don't bother them, just let them have their moment. We're quite complex beings, and we sometimes forget. We get so caught up on ourselves and our own drive, we forget to look at the people around us and think, how are they handling it? So again, got to allow people to bounce through it. In a genuine survival situation, I'm full of beans. I'm in my element. I'm happy. I sometimes have to remember that the people around me are probably terrified. Okay, so again, that's the thought processes, and you have to allow yourself to think to the others. Comfort is quite simple: coats, clothing, bedding. Yeah, simple things like that. Pets I've got up there. Think about your pets. Okay, along with your water, along with your food, think about your pets. Okay, look after them. They come back into comfort because they help with morale. They help you to relax. Okay, they keep you in a good place. Anybody that's got a dog or a cat will tell you, brilliant security. 3 o'clock in the morning, something moves in that garden, whether it's a dog or a cat, it's like that. If you're tuned into your pet, you're like, oh, something going on out there. Okay, always give you that little edge, that few seconds. Sometimes is all you need. Okay, sometimes your dog barking is enough to keep somebody away. So again, have your pets look after them. And there is something comforting about stroking a pet. And there is something also warm and toasty about a small dog curled up by your feet in the early hours of the morning. Right, brings me to my last item, hygiene. Always the one that everybody gets a bit funny about, isn't it? Hygiene. Okie doke. Dirty bucket. The dirty bucket. Okie doke. The power is off. If you lose the grid wherever you are probably going to lose your water supply within hours. Okay, if not quicker, depending on how populated the area is and how many people are switched off and switched on enough to go. Power's off. I need to collect water. Electric pumps fail. They go wrong. They collapse. They go. You're done. That's it. No water coming through the system. Can't flush a toilet, can you? Yeah. That becomes a bit of a nightmare. Now, this is where your dirty bucket comes in. Okay? Your dirty bucket is any liquid that is flushable. So that is water that's become contaminated from cooking. It's water from the fish pond outside, possibly the fish tank if the fish haven't made it. It's water from wherever you can. The water butt, if need be, if it's not drinkable water, it's the water you can't use because you can then use that with the bucket and flush the toilet. Now, it can become uncomfortable and slightly embarrassing on the fact that you're now going to have to flush it and everybody's going to know what you've been doing. I've even been in situations where the dirty bucket's had a lid and everybody's told if you need a wee in the dirty bucket. Okay? And then that goes down. Okay? You can get a bit whiffy, so you might want to keep that dirty bucket outside. Okay? But it's a way of flushing the toilet. It's a way of still being able to use that facility and take that matter away from you. Put it into the sewers where it belongs and get it away from you. So that's a way to think. And that's why I've saved the dirty bucket to the end and said, you want a dirty bucket, it's going to help. It really will. So on top of that, if you then get into a situation where that isn't working, you can't do that, don't carry on using the toilet. Okay? Another bucket, bin bags, and if need be, carry bags, whatever you need. Bag it, tie it off, bin it. Okay, goes into the wheelie bin. Okay, worst case scenario, it's dig a pit, goes in the pit, bury it. Okay, keep it away from yourselves, get it away from you. Hygiene, I can't reiterate how many people fail in survival situations through the simplest thing of personal hygiene. Okay, with your stores, collect wet wipes. Have loads of wet wipes. I can't reiterate how good they are and how brilliant they are. Just for giving yourself a little scrub down. I know it's not a shower, it's not a bath. You're not going to be able to do that. But being able to have a bit of a wipe down at the end of the day, being able to wipe your hands off, okay? Remember, especially if you're handling food or you're handling fecal matter or anybody that's injured, yeah, go to your hand gels. Use your sterilising stuff. Keep yourself clean, okay? More people fail, go downhill, and don't survive through disease than anything else. Okay, so you're going to have to protect yourself from that. And that's pretty much brings us through hygiene. Other parts of hygiene is things like dirty clothing, like wasted food, stuff that you can't use. Get rid of it, clean it, reuse it. It's keep yourself safe. It's simple stuff. Now, if you're really concerned about this, I've got my email address is up there on the board, hampshireoutdoors@mail.com. Let me know. If you like this video, I'm sorry it's not up on a normal YouTube video, but my computer is dying on me, and so pretty much I can only do this on a live stream. So, yeah, hopefully plenty of people see this. But again, hopefully it'll help. And again, UK. So we put this. They put this thing out in the Daily Mail that the government wants people to prep for 3 days. They might know something I don't, but it just makes sense to me to have some basic preps, and that is the minimum. Okay. Anything you can increase on that is a bonus, a major bonus. If you can increase your water to 4 to 6 litres a day per person, awesome. If you can increase your calorie intake to 4,000 calories a day, awesome. Okay, anything that is just the bare minimum. Anything over that, I want to grab it. And yeah, so have a look through these comments. Bob67, yeah, Radio 4, Emergency Channel John, back to cooking. Yeah, yeah, wood pellets in a firebox. Yeah, there are hundreds of options. Absolutely hundreds of options. There are many, many, many different cook systems that you can go to. And again, one of the fun things about this whole prepping thing, I've always involved the whole family. So both my sons, they learned to camp, they learned to prep, they learned about game preparation, they learned about fire lighting, they learned about survival skills, hygiene, and it all comes into one. Okay, they're adults. I don't fear for my sons now. I know they've got the knowledge. Okay, and they don't have to run around shouting about it. Not like their old man does. But I know they've got the knowledge, and that makes me feel happy, safe, and confident for them. So again, if you have youngsters, try not to scare them. Don't sit there I'm never going to be one of these people that comes on the internet. We're all going to die next week. You want to buy gas masks? No, I don't believe in any of that. Okay, nobody knows what's happening next week. So at the end of the day, preparation. Prepare sensibly. Plan for the worst. Enjoy the best. Simple as that. Share the knowledge. Pass it on. It's how our ancestors got us here. Okay, our ancestors passed on the knowledge of fire lighting, what foods were edible, what you could store, how to store it, preserve it, and so on. All these technologies have led us to exactly where we are today. Okay. Oh, Ray. That's it. Ray's got a big open fire in the middle of his living room. So I don't know how jealous I am. I'd love an open fire. I haven't had an open fire in a house since I was probably 17. I do miss it. Do miss it. Right. So yes, it's all good fun and games, isn't it? Right. So I don't know where else to go with this because this is going to be pretty much my video for this week. The video that I wanted to release, I can't. The computer has absolutely, it's dying. It seems to allow me to live stream, but I can't take any of my recorded footage and edit it, and I can't get it from the computer to YouTube. So yeah, I think the thing is coming close to me. I think taking their gun, leading the old horse out, and putting one through it. There we go. So the next few videos over the next couple of weeks might have to be lives, and I do apologise for that, but that's just the way it is. We deal with it. Again, it's prepping, isn't it? Move forward. Oh, it's inserted an advert. Right, okay, doke. Have a swig of my coffee. Always waiting for the post, yeah. Yes, always waiting for the post, mate. Oh, that's a learning curve, isn't it, Benny? The torch. It's funny how it goes. Look, so one of the great things about practicing your skills is you figure things out and you go, that's not as good as I thought it was. That maybe isn't right for that situation. So again, it's adapting your skills. Try and kit out. One of the fun things about having a channel is, or no, one of the awkward things about having a channel is sometimes you go to something that you think is absolutely brilliant just to find out it's absolutely pants. So just to give you guys a heads up, we will be up Sunday night as normal, 2000 hours. I'm going to come out of this now, leave this up on the channel, and hopefully it's just there for those people. You won't believe the amount of people that got hold of me and said, "Oh, what's going on? What's going on? Do you know something, Mr. Mick? Could you advise us?" So there we go. I don't think it's too much to panic about. I just think it's common sense on behalf of the government. Guys, I'm going to end it there because I am parched. I need to go and get something to eat. Do the usual. Speak to you all Sunday, guys. Have fun. Take care. Be safe. Get outside. Have your adventures. Benny, excellent on the one night survival, mate. You rock, Benny. John, take it easy. Be good. Ray, look after yourself, brother. And to everybody else out there, Bob67, take care. Have fun, guys. Look after yourselves. It's all right. I'm not doing my bra strap. It's my braces. Honest. Keeps my man boobs under control. Bit of silliness by Mick there. Guys, take care. Have fun. Love those you do. Forgive those you don't. Peace and light on you all. Mickey out.